Welcome to the Full-Time FBA Show. In each episode, it's our goal to help you turn part-time hours into a full-time income selling almost anything on Amazon. And now, your hosts of the show, Stephen and Rebecca Smotherman.
Welcome to episode number 307 of the Full-Time FBA Show. Today we're talking about successful retail arbitrage strategies for 2025. And to talk with us about this today is my wife, Rebecca. What's up, Rebecca?
That's not what I was expecting. I am doing just fine. We've been laughing a lot before we got on the podcast, and apparently it's going to continue. So I'm excited to be talking about retail arbitrage. I'm eager to hear what you have to say because you do more retail arbitrage than I do. So let's get into it. So today we're talking about retail arbitrage, also known as RA, and more specifically, what strategies are working best for RA in 2025. And the reason today's podcast focus is on retail arbitrage is because the day this podcast drops is also when we are starting day one of a 30-day retail arbitrage skills sprint inside our Momentum FBA program. So if you're curious what a skills sprint is and how it can help you take the guesswork out of learning or improving a specific reseller skill, then keep listening to the end of this episode and we'll catch you up on what it is and how you can get immediate access.
Oh man, I wish I had a 30 days skill sprint with retail arbitrage when I first got started selling on Amazon, but we can't go back in time, right? But we can go forward in time. 1 second at a time. Okay, I'm sorry, that's a dumb joke. I just now want to go back in time and skip that joke. Okay, refocus. Yes, I'm talking to myself. Let's focus on what strategies are working best in 2025 for retail arbitrage. And the overall point of this episode is this. There are many aspects of retail arbitrage that tons of resellers do, but they are huge time wasters or worse, money wasters. And we teach our coaching students, and we're going to teach you today the aspects of retail arbitrage to avoid and which aspects of retail arbitrage to double down on. And in case you're new to reselling, retail arbitrage is just the act of going to local retail stores to find inventory to sell on Amazon for a profit. So, Rebecca, kick us off with the first retail arbitrage strategy to avoid.
Okay, the first retail arbitrage strategy to avoid is this. Avoid buying inventory from retail stores that are second chance stores. These stores are called second chance stores because the store almost never actually buys their inventory directly from the brands or from a wholesaler, but instead they buy the leftover liquidated inventory from more established retail stores, and then that gives that unsold inventory a second chance at that particular store. So examples of second chance stores are TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls, and Ross. And there are a few second chance stores that recently went out of business, like Tuesday Morning and Big Lots, RIP.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, the reason these second chance stores are not recommended as retail arbitrage options is not because they purchase their items from other stores, but because they don't put usually a UPC or the item name on their receipts. I mean, the reasons why these items are at second chance stores, the reason why they're so cheap is because the second chance store takes every shortcut possible to save that store from what they deem as unnecessary expenses, and that helps them make more money. So for most second chance stores, they don't have the actual inventory items itemized in their computer systems via the UPC, nor do they save the item's title in their simple computer systems. They only deem an item as home goods, $12.99, or grocery, $9.99, and things like that. So because skipping those steps saves the second chance stores money, which helps make them more money. And since receipts don't have the UPC or title indicators, you, as the Amazon reseller, take on the risk of not having proof of purchase, at least one that Amazon deems as acceptable, if, say, your inventory ever gets lost in transit or damaged in the FBA warehouses or any other number of things where you might need to prove you have purchased the item from a reputable store when Amazon damages or loses your inventory.
Or worse, if you're ever accused by an Amazon customer of selling a counterfeit item and Amazon requests your proof of purchase to defend the authenticity of your inventory. Amazon is not going to accept a TJ Maxx receipt that only says home goods $12.99 because Amazon needs the UPC or item title on the receipt to show that you actually purchased that specific item from a reputable store. And that item is then you're able to show that it's not counterfeit. So sourcing for inventory at second chance stores is too risky in our opinion.
Right. And even though the super low price of those items, it's very enticing. Those low prices, I mean, that's why resellers are drawn to source from inventory at these kind of stores, but it's just too risky for the health of your Amazon business in the year of our Lord, 2025.
Okay, so we've got that. Don't source at second chance stores, but what else is working best in the 2025 world of retail arbitrage?
Okay, so this next strategy, it's going to be super quick because we've covered it multiple times in previous podcast episodes, and it's what we're still teaching our coaching clients in today's reseller landscape, and that is this. Sourcing from clearance aisles is a great place to start learning how to do retail arbitrage, but it's not where you want to be focusing on after maybe 6 months or a year after you begin. I mean, just like Amazon resellers are drawn to second chance stores for the low priced inventory that they can sell on Amazon for a profit, Amazon sellers are also drawn to the low prices of a local store's clearance aisles. But being stuck sourcing in clearance aisles, while you're able to get an acceptable receipt to use in case you need to get reimbursed from Amazon, or in case you get accused of selling a counterfeit item, the clearance aisle is not where you want to spend the bulk of your time sourcing via retail arbitrage. For a beginner, yes, clearance is awesome because you can get a taste of what reselling is like and what the different personalities of different Amazon categories are like, and get some fast winners when you're looking to sell items for a profit. But here's the kicker. Stores never restock the clearance section. That's why it's called clearance, because the store is clearing out that inventory.
That's right. If you find a profitable item in the clearance section today, you're not going to find the same winner again in 2 weeks. And if you only source clearance items, you'll be stuck looking for fresh clearance items all the time and never actually growing your Amazon business profits. The best plan is to start with clearance sourcing, but then upgrade to sourcing for replens. Items you can buy again and again to sell again and again and replenish your stock again and again. That's where the real money and success in selling on Amazon comes from. And if you want more training on replens, you can go to fulltimefba.com/replens.
Yeah, replens are the lifeblood of any successful Amazon reseller's business. But another aspect of profiting on Amazon as a reseller is also finding inventory that is only available near you. That's not available almost anywhere else. And that leads us to our next retail arbitrage strategy that's working right now, and that is sourcing for regional items at your local retail stores. I mean, this is especially true of grocery items that are only sold in your area and not sold almost anywhere else, like my local H-E-B store in Texas. In fact, you may have never even heard of H-E-B, but it's a grocery store. There might be Texas-focused regional hot sauce that's only sold in Texas. And if someone used to live in Texas but moved to Wyoming and they want that H-E-B Texas hot sauce, then they're going to go to Amazon to look for it. And we'll sell it to them. So think about those kind of items that are probably only sold in your local area and see if it's profitable for them to sell on Amazon.
Now, Stephen, when you say see if it's a profitable item to resell, you mean to check the profitability, but you also mean to check the keepagraphs to check if the item is a fast seller and that the price will be expected to stay profitable, right?
100%.
So if you're sourcing locally for regional focused items, don't just assume it's going to be profitable and sell quickly. Be sure to do your due diligence and check a keepograph to make sure it will still be a profitable fast seller in the weeks and months ahead. So what other retail arbitrage strategy is working well in 2025?
Well, this might sound weird, but it's a retail arbitrage that is also an online arbitrage strategy. I mean, Rebecca, have you ever found a profitable item to sell on Amazon via retail arbitrage, but like the store only had one or two and you wished you could purchase 10 or more of those items?
Of course, many times.
Yeah, well, if you ever come across that situation, take a few minutes after you get home from doing retail arbitrage and check to see if that item is also sold on that same store's retail online store. For example, maybe you find a winner at your local Target, but you are only able to find one or two. You can get home from retail arbitrage and go check on Target.com to see if that item is available to buy online. And if it meets the free shipping minimum and order requirements, then you might have solved your problem of wanting to buy more when your retail store locally just did not have more to buy. So don't forget to check those items when you get home. In fact, I like to say to my phone, "Hey Siri, remind me when I get home to buy X item online." That actually helps me follow through with this strategy to buy items online if I can't find enough retail store-wise.
Right. And you can use the same strategy, but flip it around for online arbitrage. If you ever find a profitable item online, but you don't want to buy the quantity needed to qualify for free shipping, you can, if you have a local store that matches the online store you're sourcing from, you can then see if that local store has the item in stock and just pick up the number of items you want locally.
Okay, it might go without saying, but we want to say it anyway. Right now, it's still highly recommended to use a retail arbitrage sourcing app like Scoutify rather than just the Amazon seller app. I mean, you get access to so much more helpful tools, resource data, so much with Scoutify, and you can get Scoutify plus 10 other resellers tool bundled together with Seller 365 at one low monthly cost. Go check it out, fulltimefba.com/seller365.
We understand that retail arbitrage can be very time consuming, so you want to make sure you have everything you need before you head out the door to do RA, meaning your phone is all charged up, your sourcing app is installed and successfully you've logged into it, and your retail arbitrage route is planned out and optimized. Your time is very valuable, and you don't want to waste any time texting your wife to remind you of your Keepa password when you're out doing retail arbitrage.
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Yeah, this has never happened. This is totally hypothetical.
Yes, we're making stuff up here. Okay, I'm guilty. But we tell you this so that you can learn from our mistakes and make the most of your retail arbitrage time so you can make the most money possible with retail arbitrage. Speaking of making the most money possible, earlier I mentioned that the day this podcast drops, we are also starting day one of a 30-day retail arbitrage skills sprint inside our Momentum FBA program.
Yes, and in case you haven't heard, a skill sprint is basically your shortcut to real progress fast. It's a focused step-by-step training experience designed to sharpen one specific reseller skill over the span of 7, 15, or 30 days. For this month, we're doing a 30-day retail arbitrage skill sprint. In each day of the skill sprint, you'll get one clear, actionable task that takes the guesswork out of what to do next. Whether you're learning retail arbitrage from scratch or you're leveling up your existing RA skills, these are going to be simple but powerful daily actions that will move your Amazon business forward with momentum and purpose. So you can get access to this month's RA Sprint via our Momentum FBA program at fulltimefba.com/momentum.
And if you're listening to this episode just beyond September of 2025, then there's good news for you. As a member of Momentum FBA, we keep access to our previous skill sprints, not forever because things change on Amazon all the time, but you will get access to our most recent skill sprints that will give you daily, clear, actionable tasks to take to learn or improve on a specific reseller skill.
And Momentum FBA is not just about skill sprints, but we give you monthly training with a new mini course drop each month, a live co-working Q&A session each month, a training session focused on what to do and what to avoid during that specific month, and a live momentum growth session that is basically a State of the Union session that gives you the most up-to-date training. We'll also have Amazon announcements, updates, trends, what's working right now for Amazon sellers to gain and maintain serious momentum in their Amazon businesses. So again, check that out at fulltimefba.com/momentum.
Momentum FBA, a simple path to higher profits.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. As always, you can check out the show notes and any links that were mentioned in this episode at fulltimefba.com/307.
And next week on the Full-Time FBA Show, we're going to be talking about how to turn Q4 into a year's worth of profit on Amazon. Because spoiler alert, Q4 is coming fast. And if you sell on Amazon, October, November, and December could easily be your most profitable months of the entire year if you know what to do. And we're going to talk about that next week on the Full-Time FBA Show.
That's all for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. So head over to fulltimefba.com/podcast, where you'll find the show notes and links from this episode. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter where you'll get several free downloads of our popular and helpful Amazon FBA resources. Now, take action on what you've learned today so you can find success at turning part-time hours into a full-time income with Amazon FBA.